It has been just over a year since I left the Big Four accounting firm that I obtained my CPA under, and in hindsight, I am so glad that I did. But at the time, it was a really hard decision to make. So I want to make the video that I wish I had, and with hindsight, give an honest perspective of what is worth considering when you're leaving and what is not worth worrying about. Plus, at the end, I'm going to share a simple framework that I used to give me confidence in my final decision and go through with it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Christian. I'm a CPA and senior financial analyst in Vancouver, Canada. When you're working at one of the Big Four accounting firms and are really in the weeds of your career, of your work for years at a time, they do a really good job of making you deeply consider whether or not you want to leave the firm. They do a really good job selling the career ladder perspective of how staying at the firm for longer means that you can exit at higher positions, and ultimately your career will just progress a lot faster if you stay at the firm than if you leave. And to just get it out of the way, I think this is true. Ultimately, these are massive businesses, which means they have a ton of employees and a lot of turnover, and that means that there's more positions that open up frequently and they can keep moving you up the career ladder. But what I realized over time is that there is a lot more to your career and to life in general than simple linear fast progression. Now, before we jump into it, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. This is not going to be a video of me trashing the firm. Ultimately, I'm really happy that I did my CPA at a big firm, at the firm that I did. I learned a lot and I made a lot of great friends that I still keep in contact with. The point of this video is that once I started to consider leaving, I really stressed about it and I overthought it, and I wish that I had some more perspective to help me with the decision. Okay, the first two things worth considering are intrinsic or internal factors. These are maybe the more emotional or personal sides to the equation of things that are worth considering. And the first is the alignment that your job and the path your career is on has with your interests. For me, for example, I was never particularly interested in auditing. I went into accounting and I wanted to do my CPA at a big firm because I was interested in business, and it was a great way for me to get inside a whole bunch of different businesses within a small period of time, learn how they work, see what they do well, what they don't do well, all that type of stuff. And that really excited me at the time. That really is the big benefit of working at these firms early in your career. Before you know what you're interested in and what path you want to take, you get this huge range of different experiences and you can find clues in those to guide your future career. In Vancouver, for example, we had clients in the mining industry, forestry, financial services like banking. We had retail, tourism, media, you name it. And if I had wanted to get experience in any of those industries, I could have asked and I could have got that experience. So that was a huge benefit for me. But after a few years, you start to build industry and client-specific knowledge, and the firm generally wants to keep you on the clients that you know well for efficiency reasons, which makes sense. But I found myself getting less of that range value I talked about, while at the same time going to these cool businesses, knowing their history, seeing the strategies that management is trying to implement and how much money these businesses were making. And I kind of just wanted to be on their side rather than on our side as the auditors. Basically, I was feeling like I had learned what there was for me to learn in the role, and I felt like I was going to these businesses as like a referee, when really what I wanted to do was to play the game. So ultimately, I think you just have to listen to your gut and you have to ask yourself, am I still interested in this? Am I still getting what I want to get out of it? Okay, internal consideration number two is the alignment that the role has with your skill set. Psychologically, I learned that a lot of the satisfaction I got out of my job came from being good at the job. When I knew I was doing a good job, the work itself, busy season, dealing with clients, you name it, all felt a lot more enjoyable, and I felt more motivated to do it. In moments where I was struggling through something and I was slogging through the work, trying to figure it out but making no progress, that was when I really felt the job sucked. Like, ultimately, I was a good auditor, but I worked with great auditors. I worked with people that were so impressive and so good at what they did, and it wasn't hard for me to look at them and say, I don't have the natural skill to do what they do, nor do I have the interest, like we discussed before, to put in the time and the effort to get to that level. So you have to be honest with yourself. I knew that I would be basically fighting an uphill battle my whole career if I stayed. And on internal reflection, what I was good at and what I was thinking about and what I got excited about and what I liked talking to my other associates about was the projects that the businesses we were auditing were working on and what it would mean for the future and the things they might need to consider going forward. That stuff all really excited me. So for me, I pretty quickly realized that finance would probably be a better route than accounting going forward. And once I understood that, it became pretty obvious to me that audit at Big Four was not going to be where I spend my future. Okay, so point number 3 and the first external factor worth considering is work-life balance. I'm assuming that you as the audience already works at Big Four and you're thinking about quitting, so probably you already have experience with busy season. But if you don't, busy season is the time of the year, generally from January to April, where you end up working a lot because most companies have a December 31st year end and they need to get their audit done before they release financial results for the year. Now, it's not always the case that it's only from January to April. That's sort of the best case scenario where only 1/4 of your year you basically have no work-life balance. For me and for other people, depending on the industry and the client and the teams that you're on, your busy season could last longer. It could be from November until May, or you might even have a really busy period during the summer. It's something that's going to be a different experience for everyone, but definitely is one of the things that can make or break your experience at a Big Four firm. So if work-life balance is really important to you, then obviously that's something you're going to need to consider when you think about leaving. I know that when I was younger and when I started working at the firm, I truthfully did not care very much about work-life balance because I was willing to sacrifice some of that for my career progression. But I was also in a long-distance relationship throughout most of my time at the Big Four firm, and towards the end, my girlfriend moved here so that we could live together, and we pretty quickly found that I was basically never home because I was working, and that was something that we both struggled with. So again, factors in my life outside of work began to put pressure on my ability to work the long hours that you're generally expected to work at one of these firms. The other thing that I think is really important to consider when you're leaving is your exit opportunities and what you're exiting to. In my experience here in Canada, people generally leave audit for a few different roles: senior accountant, assistant controller, financial analyst, senior financial analyst, or if you're leaving as a manager, you might be leaving for a controllership role or a finance manager role. From the points that we've already discussed, I knew that I wasn't going to stay until manager, so that sort of filtered down the type of jobs I was applying for. But I also knew that I still wanted to go to a big company, and I wanted to keep the senior role in my title because I felt like I had earned that, and I felt like giving that up meant that I would need to earn that back again somewhere else. So I was basically looking for a big company role with senior in the title and on the finance side of the path of my possible career journey. I bring this up because I know that some people get really frustrated working at Big Four and they basically will take any job they can get to leave. And I've spoken to people who have done that, and I think a lot of them end up regretting it because they take jobs that aren't aligned with their interests and their skills and the things that we've already talked about. You need to be picky when you leave because, like I said, the benefits that the firm sells you of staying are true. So if you're giving those up, you need to be sure about what you're getting in return. Okay, and number 5 is, of course, salary. At the end of the day, we work for money. So really, this could probably be part of the exit opportunity point above, but I think it's big enough and specific enough to be its own topic. Obviously, if you find something good that triples your salary and you need money right away because you have a mortgage or you have a family or whatever, you should probably take it. But I'll just say for me, the role that I left for was not too much more than when I was at my previous firm, and after tax it wasn't that big of a jump. But again, salary is definitely going to depend on the industry that you go to and where you're working. There are some industries that pay a lot more than others, and if you live in a high cost of living area, you're obviously going to make quite a bit more than if you live in a low cost of living area. But again, for me, in the stage of life that I was in, I was more interested in the other points that we've discussed than salary. As long as I wasn't going backwards, I was happy to get a small increase and move on from audit. Okay, so that is a lot, and those 5 things can be pretty significant, and honestly I think trying to think about them all might make you overthink even more and make the confusion even worse, which is why I had to break it down like this in order to build some confidence and make the final decision to jump ship. So here's what I did. As an accountant does, I went into Excel and I just set up a simple table, and in the first column, I put all the qualities that I thought were important for me in my next role. Work-life balance, salary, interest alignment, skill alignment. You can add whatever you want. Maybe commute time is important, or working from home or hybrid work. The next column is importance, and here I just ranked each one from 1 to 5 in order of how important it is for me that my next role has this. So I'm just making this all up, but maybe work-life balance is a 5, salary is a 4, interest alignment a 5, and skill alignment is a 4. Then you can put all the opportunities that you think you might have both inside the firm and outside the firm, and rank each of those in alignment with how much it fulfills that importance factor that you've stated. Maybe for a senior financial analyst role, it has great work-life balance. The pay is just okay, so it's a 3. And then the interest alignment is awesome, and the skill alignment is good too. So it's a 5 and a 4. And then you can total that. So go through all the opportunities that you might pursue, list them out and rank them. And then you can just calculate the difference between the total score of that opportunity and the total importance. And in this framework, the lower the score, the better. So you can see with this example that I've shown that the senior financial analyst role is the best one, and putting it quantitatively like that really comforted me in the decision that I was about to make when I called the partner and told them that I was leaving. Okay, so hopefully that helped you. Hopefully that gives you some guidance on your decision. I wish you good luck, and if you liked this video, you'll probably like another one of my videos, so please check it out and subscribe. Thanks.